Shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
Good job. Hi all. I hope everyone can see me and hear me just fine. If that's not the case, just drop a note on chat. We'll try to solve the tech issues. So welcome all to Capstone Project Presentation Day. I'm pretty excited about what's going to happen today. So before we get started, just a couple of notes. Let me do a very quick run of introductions. I promise I'm not going to talk a lot. First things first, we're going to be recording this session. The host, which I think is Ruth or Katrina, will start recording in a second. Now we're going to be recording this video and we're going to share it on our social. So you all look awesome and gorgeous and handsome and everything. But if you'd rather for your face to not be there, just feel free to switch off your camera and that's no problem. Okay. So in any time, the host, I think Katrina or Ruth will need to start recording this session. So just so you know. In the meantime, just to give you a very quick background about CodeOp. So who's CodeOp? CodeOp is effectively an international tech school created for women, trans, and gender non-conforming people. And effectively with a bunch of people who are really motivated and who are really passionate about tech skills. So anything that data science, analytics, product management, full stack development, you name it. We just love all of that stuff. We're super motivated and we love sharing it with people. So CodeOp, that's a bit who we are. More info, just check codeop.tech and you can see all the details there. Otherwise, there's some of us here who are affiliated with CodeOp. So just drop us a note and we'll be able to address any questions that you have. About me, my name is Roger. I'm originally from Barcelona and I've been working over the last 11 years in the digital space. I've been here and there, product owner, leading software development teams. And I've also been one of the mentors at the product management course. Lastly, if you have any questions about anything that I've just mentioned or any of the presentations that we're going to see today, just drop a note to the chat. And then effectively at the end of the session, we're going to have a QA block, right? So even if it's a case of a question that you have now or about any of the presentations that you're going to see, just drop a note, we'll pick it up after and we'll address it at the end of the presentation. Okay, so that's a lot for introductions. Now, why are we here today? As you probably know, we're here today because over the last 4 weeks, we've been most of us, some of us in this call have been really involved in the product management course. So this course has been around 4 weeks. Let me tell you, the first thing is this is the first time that CodeOp was running this course and we're pretty stoked about it. It's been extremely fun for us to do. A huge learning curve, so lots of interesting learnings and insights for us. Hope has been the same for the students. But we're so happy with the traction that we've got and the response that so much so that in just a few weeks, in early to mid-September, we're going to be releasing 2 more batches, one full-time and one part-time about the product management course. Now, what this course is effectively 60 hours of work that has been scattered across 4 weeks. 40 of those hours have been in class and 20 have been of independent with the students. Now, in this course, we've taught or we've shared with the students a lot of knowledge on several areas, right? So obviously you see it in the screen. Cornerstone aspects like validation of a product hypothesis is something we spend a lot of time on. Obviously, product managers are at the crossroad of design of many business verticals, including design. So design principles has been also something that we shared with them. Of course, the need for product managers to understand and write user stories and requirements, the idea of translating user requirements onto requirements back and forth. That's a critical skill that we've also tried to share with our product managers. Also, bottom left, product managers work in the real world. And the real world is real people with real stakeholders and agendas and business needs. So the idea and the need to collaborate with other stakeholders and effectively hold hands with several people to see projects to fruition. Agile delivery, I mean, I don't have to tell you what a fast-paced industry we're part of. If we don't move fast, you just effectively get sunsetted. So the need to have this agile delivery mentality has been also one of the cornerstones. And also lastly, one of the key pillars that we've also tried to put forward is that we can build beautiful products, but also it's really important to understand on how can we launch those products into a market, right? So there's a product that has a market waiting for it. We've also tried to give some intuition on how to effectively have these go-to-market strategies implemented. Now, all what you see, all this content that we've been shared with us has been effectively designed, crafted, and reviewed by our educational committee. Now, our educational committee consists of several people, but most of them are leading product managers in Silicon Valley. That is people who have been working as product managers or are affiliated with Facebook, Lyft, and any other big names. All of that content has been created and designed by that committee, and is the content effectively that we shared over the last 4 weeks with all of you. Okay, so that's in short what has been this product management. Now you say, okay, Roger, this is very good and everything, but why are we here? So what we're going to see today is the last milestone of this product management course. So effectively what we gave our students, who we can call now product managers, certified product managers, was effectively a challenge. We gave them a challenge. We said, pick a company you like in an industry that you would really want to be part of, and identify an unmet need or a user problem, and identify the group of users that are facing that problem, and effectively present to us, pitch to us, what product or feature do you think could be solving this problem, and effectively share with us the customer journey, the market, the business opportunity, and so on, right? So really, truly a business case, almost presentation to share with us a real problem and a real example, okay? Now, we're gonna see 5 presentations today. Each of them have been designed to be around the 10-minute mark. As I mentioned earlier, if you have questions about any of these presentations, just drop a note on the chat, and then we'll address them at the very end. We'll have a QA block. Okay, so that's enough about me. Let me check if there's any questions. No, that's enough about me. Let's turn the camera on to our new product managers. I would like for each product manager to introduce themselves and then go on to the presentation. So we're going to start with Amy. Amy, you should be able to start screen sharing. So what I would like to please ask Amy, as well as the rest, is give us a 2-minute introduction about yourself, and then take it away and go on to the presentation. We'll first get to see Amy's presentation, then Emefa, Fernanda, Rubida, and at the end, Steffi. Okay, so if each of you could just give us, please, a bit of an intro, and then just crack on with your presentation, that would be super lovely.
Wicked. Okay. Hi, I cannot start screen share while the other participant is sharing, so thank you.
Just solved. How's that?
Wicked. Okay. So hi, and this is Amy from almost in London, not quite. I am working in public sector, mostly in service design, and I work with the English National Health Service. Don't clap, just wear a mask. I think that should be our new motto. I work in digital transformation, enabling people to think up and harness digital in everyday healthcare settings. This includes nurses who are suddenly now doing machine learning and coding, and also includes surgeons who, with the help of Microsoft, they just came up with a brilliant process how to utilize HoloLens in the ward rounds when they are visiting patients. So these are the little pet projects that I get to be a part of, and I'm very fascinated by all the willingness and innovation, and I thought it's best to catch up with that myself. So that's why I've joined CodeOp, and here we are. A really brief intro to my presentation. I chose Mozilla Foundation specifically because I am very concerned about privacy and what happens to our data. And now that I work in a health tech adjacent sector, I can see its risks and opportunities quite clearly. So I think without further ado, I'll try to keep to 10 minutes. I do apologize if I won't. I'll try to keep to 10 minutes. Here goes. So hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. I would like to talk about a product that I thought up for Mozilla Foundation. But first and foremost, I wanted to talk to you about, is this, yes?
Amy, just a second. I'm not sure if we can still see your screen. I don't know if you started screen sharing, maybe just me. Sorry to interrupt you. Just wanted to make
Yeah,
sure.
perfect.
Now with you.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
over to you.
that would be great. Right, so I want to talk to you about Mozilla and what it's been doing in the privacy space as a browser, and how I think could do a little bit more to highlight that there are quite interesting questions around data and how much companies profit on a voluntarily and freely submitted data. So here goes. Privacy is boring. You're already tuned out. I said privacy 2 minutes ago, and you're like, nah, this is not going to work. I'm going to make a cup of tea. Everybody clicked through the Apple TNCs. Nobody read it ever. It is horrendous and boring and dry, and this is what we associate primarily with privacy. However, privacy is pervasive. We have Internet of Things, we have applications, we have all sorts that know what we eat, how many calories it has, and works out after the calories, or whether we opted for a movie night, or indeed if we went out to town and partied because we needed to forget about our really desperately puny credit score, which makes us really depressed. So we shop ourselves happy instead of getting a new job, which would give us a better credit score. This is all my personal kind of journey that may have happened some point in the past. And this is not social sharing. I'm not particularly active on Twitter and Facebook. And all my habits, my consumption, and generally my life expectancy and my credit score for sure. At the same time as I'm submitting these things, there are huge profits being made, which are, well, profiting on my private data, from LinkedIn acquisition to Skype, to Nokia, to, well, the impeding acquisition of TikTok, ByteDance, by Microsoft, which is now being allowed by Trump overseas. So there will be more mergers to come and more money to be made out of content that people, millions across the world, produce. This is one of my favorite quotes from Kara Swisher. She is a Vox Media contributor and a columnist at the New York Times. One of my favorite things that she always says is that we are very cheap dates for these media companies. Just how cheap? I would say these 3 key statements. I have nothing to hide. That ad follows me and my phone listens to me when I speak. These are the moments when we have some semblance of data awareness and how much we're giving away freely. However, privacy is powerful. And so I just wanted to really quickly credit inspired my product. Zeynep Tüfekçi's Machine Intelligence Tech Talk, and Angrynomics by 2 gentlemen who are not really agreeing on much of economics, but they argue that if we harness all the corporate profits that tech makes on our backs, then we could also provide universal basic income. That way, monetizing what we freely are currently giving away. So I wanted to share some previous approaches, how we went about capturing how much data we're giving away. We all have our ad blockers and Facebook blockers and little trackers that shows how many trackers track us while we're on the internet. And also we can see all the share prices and whatnot when it comes to all the companies who are making humongous profits on us. The reason why I wanted to work with Mozilla and Mozilla Foundation in particularly to develop a new product called Current is because I believe that what they stand for in the space of privacy is really relevant today. And I think that it deserves more visibility and more broad audiences going forward. So the product is has 2 phases. What is it? Current is, in the first instance, it is a browser extension. It can tell you 2 types of things. It can tell you that while you're browsing, how much of the companies are profiting off you, how are their stocks doing, and whether their data safety security practices are up to snuff. So this is phase one. This is a desktop browser extension. In phase two, because obviously everything's happening on mobile, we're going to go to mobile, and those will be exploring issues around how much your payments and mobile behaviors, purchases made on a sudden craving or decision impact your credit score, and how your other habits might impact on your health insurance quotes, or indeed your monetary status. So these are the two phases of current, which will start help you understand and contextualize how much money others are making while you're really not protecting your data. Who cares about this? I mean, we would say this is still quite abstract and boring. I would say that we are at the cusp of a new generation taking the stage, really, which is Gen Z and beyond, who have basically no knowledge of life outside of data. There are the nerds. I'm one of the proud nerds myself. We're making a living doing stuff in a digital realm. And then there are activists who are elites with power. With Gen Z, they were born into data-rich environments. They are very politically conscious, and they are about to enter the knowledge economy. With the nerds, they are experts, affluent, respected. They earn a living with what they do. Privacy is a consideration for these people, and they are also early adopters, mostly, or leavers of the valley. Malcolm, who's on this call at the moment. And activists, elites with power, so progressive and liberal politicians, economists, people against monopolies, advocates for corporate taxation, advocates for universal basic income, and yeah, people in the ivory towers. I may be one of them, actually. When it comes to the user profiles, I chose to focus on Gen Zers. So there are Gen Zers who only know their data-rich environment, and so these are kind of stereotypes or user personas that I came up with when it comes to actually figuring out who these people might be. Some of them are very much at the center of Silicon Valley knowledge, so they may have gone through the Theranos and Cambridge Analytica scandals, or were voting in the 2016 US elections. Some of them are students, less well off, definitely. They do have some level of data awareness, but also they are here to make some changes. They're quite idealistic, and also they don't have much economic purchasing power. So these are my kind of three user personas that I wanted to examine a little further. When it comes to who do we want to reach, the nerds and elites and the Gen Zers and beyond, the main difference between them is the purchasing power. So while nerds and elites can fuel the work of both the Mozilla Foundation and also fuel work on developing products, they have awareness, resources. Their concept around data is a slightly more different than those in Gen Z. They still earn less than the boomers, and they are very much taking pride in being attuned to information. To reach them, you could use their work stuff like GitHub and Stack Overflow. You could use Twitter, but equally you can use Davos and the World Economic Forum, New Yorker, Vox podcasts, and all that. Gen Zers are slightly different because they are very concerned about the failed capitalistic system, climate crisis. Cyberbullying is their everyday reality. And while they have little economic agency, they do believe in the democratization of knowledge. So therefore, I thought it's best to reach them through community colleges and university campuses, free open online courses, and activism that they might be already taking part in. So when it comes to what data we would like to look at when we are rolling out a product, when it comes to desktop, it would be interesting to examine institutional reach through colleges and university partnerships, obviously App Store downloads, download specific with educational activation, so as we know who are our main user bases. Uptake per channel, so if we are advertising on MOOCs and podcasts, the unique links can give us a clue about that as well. Geographic reach when it comes to mobile, conversion to Firefox being default browser for people, media coverage, which could be achieved via both festivals and South by Southwest, and similar foray for thinkers and the elites, and arrivals to hackathons that Mozilla regularly runs. Tangentially, it might be also possible to check for an uptick in donations to the foundation by way of raising awareness to data literacy and how much we are giving away. That is me, that is my AMA slide, and thanks for bearing with me.
Amazing. I think a big round of applause, either with sound or in the chat. Absolutely fantastic, Amy. Thanks very much. That is pretty, absolutely great job. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions that people will want to ask you at the end. Again, if there are any questions, please do drop them in the chat. Excellent job, Amy. We'll definitely come back to you later in the QA with some questions. Very, very well done. In the meantime, Emefa, if you wanna go up next, whilst Emefa sets herself up, screen sharing and so on, just to remind you that if there's questions, just drop them on Zoom, please. For Amy, we would love to be able to pose your questions a bit later. Emefa, other than that, if you could just do as Amy did, just give us a bit of a presentation, and then over to you.
Yes, sure. So, right away. So, as my name is Mefa, and I work at CodeOp, as most of you know. I'm a teaching assistant at CodeOp, and my presentation is a little product for CodeOp. And fun fact, CodeOp used to be called Codely, so this is basically what the app is. So I'm gonna start presenting now. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through, in this presentation, I'm going to walk you through the background of the problem, a bit more about the problem, introduce you to our personas, speak a bit about the product and the value propositions with the sample customer journey, and a bit about the MVP, and then I'll, sort of describe what success would look like for this product. Right. So to give a bit of context, So a bit of background, the data shows that online and remote learners have 10% to 20% field retention rates than traditional learning environments. And 50 to 80% of these learners in virtual learning environment give up because of technology problems, a lack of support and accountability. Basically, people get frustrated when they are learning online and can't interact as much with people as they would like. Now, CodeOp went, sorry, and this is, just a second. Sorry, just a second, just some technical challenges. Okay, so the problem, CodeOp went remote in March in response to COVID, and we sort of uncovered a new set of challenges that virtual learning environments face. With COVID, with people quarantined and locked down, we found that students were coding at all times of the day to keep themselves sane and to keep themselves busy. And as a result of coding at all times, they require technical support at all hours of the day. Now, as a coding newbie, you would want support when you want it, as and when you want it, to keep yourself from feeling frustrated and at a breadth and depth that you understand. And what was happening was that students were facing issues where they needed support at maybe over the holidays, over weekends, at nighttime, and they were not finding people to support them when they wanted it, and they would basically get stuck in this rabbit hole going round and round trying to find solutions. Now, for instructors, it became increasingly unsustainable because you could only wear the same multiple hats at the same time, trying to help 10 million students at the same time was causing instructor burnout. So this brings me to our personas, which are people who sort of personify the problem that we're facing. Now, meet Christelle. She's a night owl. She is an investment banker transitioning into tech, but she wants a more relaxed and flexible lifestyle so that she can travel the world and work remotely. Now, being an investment banker, she works all hours, and so she finds herself learning how to code and going through problems at night or early in the morning. And her main pain point easily gets frustrated with a lack of formulas in coding as compared to in finance, where you could just easily crunch some numbers and find the solution you want. And so she wants to be able to find support quickly and easily when she needs it. There is Winnie, she's 23, she's a creative, and she's an artist, but she finds herself, she's also learning how to code, finds herself easily distracted and needs multiple reinforcements to understand the new concepts. She easily gets lost in rabbit holes and finds that she never reaches her learning goals. And so she says she's drawn a long list of things she wants to learn, but she doesn't even know where to start from. And there's Leah, who is a coding instructor, and she recently adopted a baby, and she used to be used to working long and odd hours, but wants to find balance to spend more time with her family. And for her frustration, she finds that she wants to help her students, but she also finds herself answering the same questions over and over again all the time. Now, even though, so this product, so now let's go on. So basically what's the value proposition of this app is to be able to help students grow in confidence on their new coding journey and help debug their own problems without needing the help of an instructor. So basically just being self-sufficient and growing in confidence as they go along in their journey. So the product I propose is a virtual 24-hour teaching assistant that would be a chatbot that's integrated into Slack to be there at all hours when a student needs it. It will provide step-by-step debugging support. It will use natural language processing to simulate a real conversation and pick up keywords based on data and analysis over CodeOp's technical support channels to be able to provide solutions to commonly seen problems. It will provide personalized content and also offer recommended learning material and also engage students and basically link up students who are stuck on the same issues. Now, how will this product look like? So the product is going to be a front end, app supported, integrated into Slack. Basically, what will happen is that the students will activate this bot by, saying, hey, I need help. And then what it's going to do is it's going to connect to, as we can see here, so it's going to be a front end dashboard that connects to the server and basically be able to go into CodeOp's database of most frequently asked questions or what students need support with most. It also is going to be integrated to a virtual TA, basically, which is going to be built on a Watson technology, which is an AI technology that uses NLP to simulate the real conversations and then be able to send that back to the server and then back to the student to help the student solve their problems. So for example, let's look at a sample user journey. So for a student who wants to be able to find support quickly and easily when she needs it, all she has to do is to reach out to Codely, and Codely would provide the step-by-step debugging. If the problem is solved, it would provide recommendations for additional learning. So that would be for a student who wants accountability in their learning journey. We would provide recommendations for additional learning and be able to notify them or check in with them to check how they are progressing through their material. Now for the instructor, because we did see an instructor who is not going to be a direct user of the app, but based on that instructor's pain points, there are some features that will be provided so that it will be able to solve the problem of having instructor burnout as well. So here we have an instructor who wants to be able to help students solve real challenging problems. And so what this is going to do is, as the app progresses through helping the students solve their problem, if it's not able to reach, if the student is still not really satisfied, what the app is going to do is going to send the student a link to be able to book some time in the instructor's calendar for when next they are available. So the students would have had some support, but would get extra support if they need it. That way the instructor could also spend time doing other things and then only solve the problems that the students are genuinely stuck on that really require instructor support. So here we have a sample of Crystal's journey. So we have a student who reached out to say, hey, Codely, I'm stuck on a problem, I need your help. And Codely is gonna sort of give them options on what the issue is. And then based on what issue it is gonna maybe ask for a bit more detail to explain the problem, ask the student to attach some screenshots, and the bot is gonna read what sort of errors those are and then give them suggestions based on it. So it says, it looks like you need to do a git pull before you need a git push. So let's take it step by step. And then it helps the students sort of solve the problem one step at a time until they get the solution that they're looking for. And if they don't, it would ask if you solve the problem. If yes, then that's good. Otherwise, no, then this is where it's going to reach out to somebody else to get extra support. So what is success going to look like on this if this app is implemented? So basically, we're going to monitor the daily usage rates of the app to see how students are using, if and when students are using this app or this bot. It's going to also check the click rates for the problems that are solved, and then also be able to measure success based on the number of requests that instructors receive on this. And also there will be some features that would include having a dashboard that will help students all throughout their learning journey from the moment that they decide to learn how to code to when they go through a bootcamp and to the end of it. So basically that's what the app is going to look like. So that's it. Thank you.
Amazing. Thanks a lot, Amefa. Please put your hands together for this, because this is a pretty solid also presentation. Very well done. Again, all of you, I'm sure if you have questions, just drop them on box, and we'll share them with Amefa after. Very good job, Amefa. Really, really solid as well presentation. Let's next go with Fernanda. Fernanda, if as Amy and Amefa, you could just briefly introduce yourself and then start screen sharing and then take it away. That would be awesome. Over to you.
Yes, hello. So my name is Fernanda. I am originally from Guatemala, but I'm currently living in Barcelona. I'm passionate about technology, about learning, and also about social justice. So you're gonna see how my product relates to this. I'm gonna share my screen now. Okay, so good afternoon. Now I'm gonna introduce you to action. To start first, we're gonna go through the starting point, the problem and opportunity, our target market, our solution and value proposition, how are we gonna measure success, the main parts of the business model, and why should we start building this product. So starting point. 3 out of 4 persons says the pandemic has made them more sympathetic towards other needs and that they intend to take actions to have a positive impact in their communities. These generations aren't just hoping for a better world, they want to lead that change. This is according to the latest Deloitte Millennial Survey, which takes into account both millennials and Generation Z. So the problem we found. The problem is that young adults want to have a positive impact on their community. They are concerned about social justice and also about the environment, but with so much information and unreliable content on the internet, they don't know where or how to start taking action. The main challenges we found is first is information overload. There's too much information on the media, on the internet, and in general, it's difficult to make a choice about how to contribute or how to start helping to towards solving these social problems. Then there's unreliable content. We are familiar with this, many things such as fake news. And there's also lack of knowledge. Most of this market, and also I can identify myself, we haven't received education about the social problematics, which are the roots of these problems, and what can we do to start working towards solving these problems. So if we don't know where to start, it will become a big challenge. So who are we talking about? Who is our target market? We're talking about a 4 billion global market, which these are the two generations, millennials and Generation Z. They are between 7 years old and 38 years old. We're going to focus on the older demographic. They have some common characteristics, which is that they are financially responsible. They have a stronger sense of individual responsibility, and they care. They care about diversity and inclusion in the workplace. As Amy also mentioned, they are more sensitive to social problems. So this is the personalization of one of our personas in the target market. This is Esther. She's an account manager working in Barcelona. She's 31 years old, which means she's a millennial. This will be our primary type of user, because she can afford to volunteer, to make donations, and also to learn more about the social problematics. She spends more of her time online on social networks, on messaging apps, and in a lesser extent in the media. Her goals are to make a positive impact in the world, also to be environmentally responsible, and she wants to start learning more about how can she start leading change. Her challenges, as we mentioned, is that there is too much information out there. There are unreliable sources, and it's confusing to know how to contribute or where to start. So how do we empower them? How do we empower people like Esther? So we have a proposed solution, which is Action. Action is a platform where you can learn how to lead change and to find a cause you care about to start taking action now. More specifically, it is a trustworthy platform where young adults can find social causes they can relate to, they can learn more about them, and they can start taking action in a form that fits them best. How does it work? First, we give them tools to start learning about what's causing these problems and to know how to help. We also create a matching feature where you can search for the causes you care about or the interests you have, and we can fit you with the causes more related to your interests according to filters. Also, you can start acting, which means you can start finding volunteer work and also how to donate to certain organizations. All of this while building a trustworthy product. We want to build trust in the product because we know this is one of the main challenges. And we will do this by verifying the information and the content and also the causes and the organizations. How does it look? So the Action, the brand, is an energetic and aspirational brand. These are some starting wireframes. In the first one, you can see the homepage of the platform, and in the second, how it will look when you start using the search engine to match you to a certain organization or cause. It's also important that it is very visual and mobile friendly for our target, and that we focus on the user experience to make it as engaging as possible, and also to the journey to be as smooth as possible so people keep coming back. So how do we measure success? How do we make sure we're on the right track? We focus first on acquisition and retention. It's a new product, so we want to start acquiring those customers, but we want them also to stay with us. We're going to measure product quality with a Net Promoter Score and support tickets monthly. In product usage, we're going to focus on monthly users and the retention rate. In marketing, I want to focus also on word of mouth, because it is important that we are generating organic traffic, not only paid advertisement, because we're a nonprofit. When we invest in advertising, we're gonna use metrics such as cost per acquisition, CPC, and also return on advertising. Also for the nonprofit sector, another important metric is the donor lifetime value. So people who are donating, how long do they stay with us? As for the business performance, we're gonna focus on revenue. And instead of specifically focusing on profit, we're gonna focus on operating surplus deficit. This means like revenue minus the expenses, because it is important to have even if we are a non-profit business, we want to be a sustainable business in the future. About the business model. In here, I want to focus about the key partners, the important people that can help us leverage our business model. These are the nonprofit sector, the public sector, the private sector, and activists. We want to work together with nonprofit organizations because we can work together with them, also have them on our platform, and we can contribute to them. We want to work with the public sector, with organizations such as the United Nations or the European Commission. Also with the private sector, we know that there are many private organizations that are starting to work towards being a more impactful business. We want to partner with this type of people. And it is also important that we work with activists or influencers that are very concerned about the problematics and that fit with our values. So to finish, why do we want to create a product like this? As we saw, the global population of these two generations is more than 4 billion now. So this means that both generations are the next big global workforce. They are the future. We want to be working together with the next global workforce, right? So we have the chance now to empower the next generation and work together, creating the change we want to see in the world. It's a unique opportunity, and we have that opportunity now. Thank you. This is action.
Amazing. Big round of applause, everybody. That's fantastic job. Very good, Fernanda. Really well done.
Thank you.
Looking amazing. Thanks a lot for that. Again, questions, just questions for Fernanda later, just drop them in the chat, and we'll definitely address them. Really well done. A big round of applause. In the meantime, shall we go on to the next one? Would be Rubida. If you would be okay to screen share.
Yep. Hello, hello. Just give me a moment.
No worries.
All right, sound check.
Yeah. If you want to tell us a bit about yourself, Rubida, and then,
all right, so
take it away.
So my name is Rubida Al-Haddad. I'm born and raised in Saudi Arabia. I'm a system analyst. I'm a fresh graduate as well. Yesterday I discovered that I'm the youngest among these lovely girls. So the learning journey has been amazing. I'm learning from everyone. So I'm a system analyst. I mainly work for understanding the system interactions and the system architecture between the system and the user, and mostly writing requirements for developers and semi-managing technical projects at my company. So I'll be presenting to you today our new project. It's called Ride and Bike. So, yep, just a second. Okay, so we believe in creating an impact that directly speaks to our users, an impact that is built by delivering an experience, by using empathy and intuition. And this is applied in our design processes, where we tend to look into a user-centric approaches that addresses human preferences. So we start by using a design process that divides our work into phases. The first phase is empathizing the problem, and then you define and research the problem further, and then you start to ideate and design a solution for that problem, and then you prototype and you test, and lastly develop. So Jeddah waterfront is an attraction here in Jeddah. It's a 30-kilometer coastal resort area. It's located along the Red Sea, and it features a coastal road, recreation areas, and as well as King Fahad's fountain, the highest fountain in the world. So it has like water sport parks, designated beaches, children's play parks, a floating marina dock, and then larger than life animal and art sculptures, as well as designated restrooms and 4 charging stations. So we started thinking, what do people actually enjoy doing the most in Jeddah waterfront? So many ideas came to mind. But since we ourselves are bike lovers, we thought about how bad people actually suffer from that in Jeddah waterfront. Because customers can only rent bikes from shops, and these shops are limited and concentrated in one place. So our goal is how to help solve this issue. But how? So we started to define and research furthermore and dig deeper into this problem. So we figured out 2 facts. The first fact is riding a bike is healthy and fun and a low impact form of exercise for all ages. So this means that we need a solution that works for everyone. And then we figured out that there are only 5 shops throughout the entire waterfront, which means that they dominate the bikes market there, making the access to bikes very limited. Not to mention that they're also located very far from the bike lane. As part of our research, we look into the product market fit, where we try to determine the degree of how our product will satisfy a strong market demand. Furthermore, knowing who you are building this for is key to determining the product goal, where you identify their needs and pain points their pains. Therefore, building personas assess this step in further understanding the users. So we have 3 personas. We have Ahmed, he's a developer. He's an introvert. He enjoys stargazing, traveling, and he enjoys going to the beach. And then we have Leia. She's an extrovert. She's a student. She loves books. She loves music. She loves movies. She enjoys hanging out with friends because she's 20 years old, obviously. And then we have Muhammad. He's a business owner. He's a thinker. He enjoys video games part-time. And then he also enjoys running, cooking, and sports as well. So building the solution has to accommodate and satisfy the needs of these personas. Also, during our research phase, we have met with customers and conducted the research to learn more about the user's experience from using current local shops. And we figured out the pain points I have already mentioned, that the shops are very limited. Moreover, we have also made a benchmarking research to learn more about what other options are available out there, both locally and internationally, into renting bikes. So we figured out that App Bike is based in the UK, where you can actually rent bikes from any station available. You can check the nearest station by looking into the map and then selecting the bike that you need and scanning a QR code that has it, and you have the bike ready. Whereby the Raja online, the one on the right, is booking a bike ahead of time and then picking it up from their store or their pickup locations. So we started thinking, how about we combine actually these 2 solutions together? So building a bike station across the walkways of Jeddah waterfront with bikes, so customers can actually book bikes ahead of time, and then they use the app to also schedule or book a bike. So the idea was generated from thinking of something that could improve the quality of life in terms of health and entertainment as well. So Ride and Bike is targeted for Jeddah citizens that enjoy walking at Jeddah waterfront, while others enjoy riding bikes to practice sports. So as our part of our 4th phase, which is prototyping, we decided and we started building our prototype to meet the need of our personas. So as you can see, the user can navigate through the onboarding screens and get to know the app more. And then the user can actually sign up regularly with our sign up form that has standard information like name, email, gender, password, or they can actually continue signing up with Google or Apple since these have become more standard now. And then here, where the fun part comes. So here, actually, the users can view the immediate call to action button, which is book a bike, on the left side of the screen, to view and also to view the latest activity, which will consist of how many hours spent on their last ride, or how many kilometers did they take to get from point A to B, and so on. And on the top right corner in the same screen, you have the burger menu, which will have the profile where you can actually edit your info, and you can also relocate yourself again back to home. Whereas the user will also have a view. So when you click on the book a bike button, you actually have the screen, the third one from the left. So you have a slide view from all bikes where you can actually select one, and then it shows you details, which I will be showing you in the next screen. And then you can actually select a booking date, a booking time, and duration and price. Might I note that all our prices are distance-based. So if you spend 30 minutes, then you will be paying 40 riyals, for example. Our pricing models aren't finalized yet, but these are just like initial thinkings. So as I mentioned, here you can see on the left side of the screen, the bike's detail. You have the bike ID, the bike color, the bike age, and the latest maintenance that have happened on the bike, just to confirm safety for all our users. And then when your booking is finalized, you click Yalla, which is let's go in Arabic, and then your booking is confirmed. So we started testing our app to get more accurate and actionable results for our app usability. So we had to ask the right questions to validate the prototype, to find issues with our complex flow, if we have one, to gather unbiased user opinions, and also get insights that help us create a better experience for our users. So we asked questions such as, does the user understand the point of your app? Is your app easy to navigate? Would they use your app again? And we actually found out a very positive feedback. So why would you say, I need to invest in this? Benefiting your users will come back and quote unquote, feed you more, because the losses are basically zero. Think about it. Riding bikes with an awesome view, who says no? But let's get real. Digitizing or automating manual processes has always been beneficial for the users, as it saves time because you don't have to go all the way to the shop and then pick one and go back again. And then it gives you more data because it relates to you with statistics on how many kilometers you actually took, the time you spent, and so on. It allows the customers to feel independent and self-service themselves because they have to go pick it up themselves and bring it back themselves to the stations, or any stations for that matter, and reduce the number of steps involved into renting a bike. So the expected results. We have 120,000 visitors in Jeddah waterfront. So if you actually implement this, you'll be serving 120,000 visitors. So think about the money. And then if you actually try to implement this in Jeddah, you will be serving 2.81 million in Jeddah. Again, think about the money. Thirdly, there is 34.81 million across the kingdom, which will also do the math, think about the money. And lastly, the expected impact that we try for our solution to have. Awareness, in terms of creating awareness and establishing the loyalty and credibility with users and from users, as users will be responsible on taking and returning the bikes from and to the station. The atmosphere, in terms of building the right atmosphere to encourage people to ride bikes. And then acceptance. People will become more acceptant to the idea of using a bike whenever available and returning them after done using it. Lifestyle, it will promote a healthy lifestyle that encourages weight loss, improved heart muscles, and also mental health. And then also it's environment friendly. So imagine if you actually get this done for the vastness of the kingdom, and I mentioned the numbers earlier, it will reduce the usage of cars and therefore less emitted gases. And finally, it's sustainable because sustainability, because the same bikes will be used by most users, as bikes are known to be, or a lifetime usage. You basically use it for a longer time if treated properly. So we are cycling enthusiasts who are passionate about getting more people on bikes and promoting cycling as a way of improving quality of life in terms of health and entertainment. Implementing this niche will create a greater impact on people's life. So invest now and be the niche in the market. Thank you.
Amazing. Make some noise for Rubida. Really good job. Really
Thank
solid.
you.
Really, really good job there. Amazing. Good job, Rubida. Again, any
you.
questions, comments, feedback, just keep that button on the chat firing. Thanks a lot, Rubida. Let's go on to our last presentation, which is going to be with Steffi. Steffi, as per your colleagues, if you could just please give us a bit of a rundown about yourself and then carry on with your presentation, that would be great. Over to you.
Sure, thank you. So hello everyone, let me put the sharing and then I'll present myself here, share. All right, so my name is Steffi, I'm from Romania. I moved to Barcelona about 3 years ago. I've worked in the past 10 years in digital marketing and communications. I'm currently working in digital marketing as well, but more in the tech side. And I've decided a year ago to change what I was doing and get more into tech. And I did the full stack development course at CodeOp. It was great. I really liked it and I grew a lot. I'm more confident and I feel way happier. And I had like a year of taking risks and it was amazing and I want to continue with this. And here I am learning more about product management, becoming more involved in the tech world. So for those of you who don't know me, I am a skier, I love traveling, and I'm a big fan of Skyscanner. I actually wanted to really work at Skyscanner, but given the situation, it's a bit challenging. Maybe you recognize the logo on my presentations. I'm speaking as if we are at Skyscanner, so let's go. My proposal is to create the Explorer, which is an app. But before we get into it, let's remind ourselves what our mission is, which is to lead the global transformation to modern and sustainable travel. This is not new to you, but given that we're in 2020 and we all seen what has happened so far this year, and these pictures probably are not something you haven't seen, with airplanes being parked, with airlines canceling flights continuously, or with number of flights dropping like tremendously, starting March. And on top of that, there was another situation that, like, given this, I would challenge you to think that traveling is not canceled. Even though you cannot fly out, for us in Europe, it's really easy to go anywhere, we can still travel. It's not canceled, and traveling is a lot about shared experiences. Besides this, that is happening in 2020, we had another so-called epidemic, which is the loneliness epidemic, and the number speaks for themselves. In the European Union, they ran like a survey, which they took 2 factors in, like how lonely individuals feel and how socially isolated they feel. And we saw that 7% frequently feel lonely. You might think 7% is a low number, but 7% is actually 30 million adults. And besides that, 80% meet others only once a month. And this was pre-pandemic. Just think about it, pre-pandemic. And these are the numbers for Europe. We have numbers for the US as well. If you're interested, we can go into them. And on top of everything, this year has been also about stay home, and we feel less isolated. So I want to come with a proposal to tackle these things. The problem is we have our phones, we all use technology, we all love it because otherwise we won't be here. But sometimes technology is not used to help us. It might make us feel disconnected and lonely. And we don't want that. We want to experience more, hang out with people we like, but we don't get to do it because we live in this busy world. We're always on our phones or checking emails or doing things. But we have a solution for this problem. Our goal is to help people feel less lonely, explore more, and have them hang out more together, especially after such a hard time. and to not only hang out with the scope of like, oh, let's just hang out and have a coffee, but help them create deeper connections through shared experiences. Let me explain. The marketing opportunity first and the personas. We would have Sarah the Explorer, who is in her 30s. She loves to travel. She's like super angry and frustrated currently because of the given situation. And sometimes she doesn't find people to go travel with, which is one of her pain points. And she's also single. You will see all of our personas are single. Then we have Alex the expat. Alex recently moved to the city he's living in, currently Barcelona. He's eager to know everything about the city, also doesn't have many friends because he just moved. His circle is work people, and they are not so eager to spend more time after being 8 hours together. So his pain point is like making new friends, but also exploring, and he has this drive. Then we have Sam, the sharer. Sam loves to hang out with others, share experiences, go out, but he doesn't come up with the ideas. He doesn't like suggest things. He just like wants to go out without like a plan. And then we have Mark, the lazy one. He would like to do everything, but he ends up sitting on his couch watching Netflix and seeing how his evenings go by or how the weekend is gone and he didn't do any exploring or he didn't go on any adventures, and every day looks the same. The solution to all this, first, like I know what you will be thinking when you will see these mock-ups. Our designer is out of the office, but we will get better ones. So you will see here is like a simple screen. You all seen like a login screen. And when you will go into like the app, you will have like a welcome screen. You will have the friends here. This will not be a Facebook app or your regular social media app where you have like thousands of friends or followers you cannot keep up with. You don't even know if they're your friends anymore because you don't know who they are. This would be actual people who you want to be friends with and hang out with. You will get badges because we all know we need rewards to be like made to do things. So you will get like the Explorer badge, and then you will see maybe Katrina has a different level and you want to reach that level too. So it will become like a game. And then we will have events and suggestions where also our monetization model will kick in. And here you will see like different suggestions. For example, you want to go to a coffee shop or to see a theater play or to go on a hike. So we will like use some APIs here to show places in town, to connect with like Time Out magazine or, for example, TripAdvisor, to pull in things for people to get inspiration and to also get feedback from their friends of what they are doing. So basically this will be fed also, like when you create the profile, you have to fill out some information about yourself on what your interests are. And then you will go on One Friends. For example, you'll see here me and Fernanda. You will see it's going to be color coded. And this is basically a to-do list if you think about it. But the magic lies behind like the gamification and having things on paper, which is an app. And for example, you will see here that Fernanda wants to run the marathon in Barcelona with me. And we keep saying this for like 3 years and we never got to do it. This year it's even got canceled. So that's a big shame. So by putting these things here, or I want to take Fernanda to my favorite coffee shop in Barcelona because we both love coffee and I want to share this experience, this personal place I have with her. Or she wants to have me eat like Guatemalan food to share something about her culture. So this way we don't just like when Fernanda gives me a call and she says like, let's hang out and do something, we don't end up doing the same thing over and over again and sitting in the same places and talking about the same things. But we expose ourselves to new things, to things we might know and we want to share with another person, and we get to know each other at a different level. And yeah, now let's get into the revenue model. So we will use sponsored content from different providers. We will have like food and beverages. Here I'm talking about restaurants, coffee shops, anything related to food and drinks. Then we will have events, although events this year are a bit tricky, but we still have some cinema events happening, some theater. So for example, if you're someone who's into art, we might put like a play from Liceo if Carmen is on, and they will like pay us to show this in this part, which I was showing before, the events and suggestions. And it will be like very natively shown in a simple design, but it will point out it's promoted because we don't want to fool our users. And if they book, there will be a system like you see the concert, you can book through us and then schedule it in with a friend who you want to go to. Then we will have travel agency who obviously run trips at the moment locally. For example, if you want to go do a kayaking at the Congos de Morbey, but you don't want to be alone because you don't like going alone, even though there are 40 people, you find a friend and you're like, hey, have you seen this? Maybe your friend who's an expat, and then you get to go together. Also gyms, like everything that is an experience. So it doesn't have to be like only food or event, like everything you can think of that is an experience. So this is like very broad, but we will start like small. But I want to see like how big we can go. And that's about it. I want to say like, think about it for a moment, because this is like a really good time that we're living in to take this opportunity. Somebody else might grab into this. We're traveling a lot locally right now. We're eager to hang out with our friends. We've been like starved from connections. And it's like a really good opportunity for us to take a lead here with our experience in the field and with the technology that we've built so far over the years. Thank you very much. And I'm open for questions if you have some.